Trying to have the cameras. Ain't going Saturday. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another episode of the Bright Now podcast. We're recording this on Saturday, March 2nd at noon Eastern Time. I'm your host, Dash, and I'm the beefcake, tall, handsome, hot coffee drinker alongside my milkshake drinking iced coffee co-host, TJ. And before we get into what we're talking about, TJ, I did want to make the announcement that this will be the last time that we here at Bright Now will be posting on the Dash and Hoop channel, as we made another channel where we'll be posting this episode on the Bright Now podcast YouTube channel. We'll have the link in the description. We'll have it right here where you can click on. Go ahead and give us a sub. We can't wait to see you over there. But TJ, what are we talking about today in this specific episode?
Got a great day. First of all, I haven't drank an iced coffee and I don't even know how long. I'm an at-home coffee maker. I'm not wasting $5 on your fucking bullshit frappuccinos that I know you get every day. That and your avocado toast, you millennial.
Stop, bro. You go to Starbucks still to this day. You support this shit.
Dude, I'm on the East Coast, bro. The Starbucks out here suck. This is a Dunkin' world. We're just living in it, you know?
That's real.
America runs on that shit. I don't know if you heard.
That's a fact. No, that's real.
So today we're going to break down Suns Rockets 2.0. Got, facing them in a quick turnaround. Plus a slight preview into the final game against them tonight. Then we're going to talk about something league-wide, and we all saw the report. Adam Silver is going to meet with his teams and league leaders to discuss how they can fix the offensive explosion and really give some sort of an edge back to the defense. Then we're going to be breaking down. So, as we all know, the old guard is changing over in the NBA soon. LeBron's 39, Steph is 36, I want to say, off the top of my head. So they're going to be out soon. So we're doing a future face of the league draft to see who these guys are. Who do we think is next up in terms of taking over this league? Getting things started, right? We got Suns beat the Rockets 110-105. They're up 21 points at one point in this game early. It definitely felt nice to still get revenge after blowing the last game to them. But it, still cut it close near the end. So, what are your knee-jerk reactions to this Rockets game that we just completed?
Yeah, so I mean, two things right off the bat. I was still happy that we were taking our threes out there. We got guys like Royce O'Neal coming out and just playing a big addition, and we'll touch on him in a little bit later. You had Grayson Allen at least shooting them, not necessarily knocking them down. But Devin Booker, have yourself a night. Those sexy ass deep threes that he was putting in was I mean, 6 of 11 from deep on his side was an absolute masterclass.
Still can't hit 7.
Yeah, still can't hit 7. It's historic. It's a thing now. But, the one that me and you were talking about towards the end of the shot clock, was it the third quarter?
It was at the end of the first.
End of the first. Yeah. I'm tripping. Yeah,
end of the first. The 33-footer with 4 seconds left, just nothing but nylon. It was crazy.
No, he bombed that shit from deep, and it was super cool to see. Just him continuing to take those threes, even in transition. I'm happy with him. I'm just, as me and you have spoke before, beating a dead horse at this point. I just want to see this team continue to shoot threes. And like I said, we got up 37 of those things, and we shot about 35% as a team, which is much better than the Rockets. They shot a lot more, but they shot like 27%, which is kind of atrocious. You saw it at points. It looked like guys were just trying to get theirs. Big Jabari Smith Jr. guy, but it looked like that he was hunting for his shot. A few too many possessions where he's like, all right, guys, it's my turn. I'm getting all these rebounds. It's my turn. He's just jacking up some bullshit. But this does go into a topic that I wanted to talk to you about specifically, TJ, and that's Royce O'Neal. I mean, I've been very much so enjoying the minutes that he's been able to provide for us. Even though he only shot 3 for 9 from behind the arc, it still keeps the defense on their toes when he shoots threes. He provides good defense, and even though he's on like the shorter end of the NBA spectrum, he's strong as shit, and he makes his presence known in that way. Do we have to give James Jones some more credit for a move that we were questioning at first? Me and you, I feel like we were open-ended. We were kind of leaning on the side, but how are you feeling about it now?
Yeah, we were definitely questionable about it, and it was because, as we'd said before, he just fits the same spot as Okogie, and I didn't know if he was going to be, if there was going to be enough gap between them for it really to feel like he was making a difference when we get rid of all that size. But no, it's helped a ton. Getting rid of KBD and Metu, who guys that we just had question marks on, basically year-round, same with Yuta, to bring in a guy like Royce O'Neal who can step in and start basically immediately for us. And like you said, he plays really good defense, much better defense than I was totally expecting. He's shooting the ball much better than he had with his previous stints, so that helps. Who knows if that kind of get corrected in the playoffs? But I'm really loving what it said. Yeah, I think we were wrong in the sense because we were pretty negative on that trade, and I've been really loving the Royce O'Neal experience. Just his attitude and energy was like a breath of fresh air for the team too.
Yeah, I'm glad you share that sentiment with me because that's just something that's been like just standing out to me. Those Royce O'Neal minutes have been huge. His contract is not all crazy either, which is a blessing for this team. Another thing I wanted to touch on besides Royce fitting like a glove was this was probably towards the top of the list for KD's worst performances of the year. And that's saying something considering he finished with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. He was really hunting that mid-range shot. It felt like it just wasn't going in as much as it usually is. Does that mean anything, or is that just, great shooters just have these nights sometimes?
Yeah, no, and I think we got to give him credit. In the second half, he was 5 for 10 with 14 points.
Yeah,
so
true.
Most of those shooting struggles were really in the first. He didn't take a 3 in the second half, so probably just wasn't really feeling it at that point, especially with Booker really kicked that game off with this like an explosion of offense. And we haven't even talked about Booker's 20-point first quarter yet. We touched on at the end of it, but that was just absolutely amazing seeing him go to work. But yeah, so I'm not concerned when Kevin Durant has a game shooting like this. Matter of fact, get all these games out of the way now in the regular season. Just get all these misses out of your system, and so that way in the playoffs he's just back to being the easy money sniper. Because even when he is shooting poorly, though, the defense still has to react to every single thing he does on the court. So even when he's not being necessarily impactful on the scoreboard, he's impacting everything else.
Yeah, super cool to see your stars just performing that way, even on a quote-unquote off night for someone like that. I mean, shit. I'll take 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 24 points any night.
That'd be a career day. That'd be a career day for most guys.
It would be a career. You're absolutely right. I also wanted to touch on Jusuf Nurkic with his nasty seven turnovers. It still doesn't get me as mad as the former Sun, whose name we shouldn't mention, but obviously some of those were just, bonehead, getting the offensive rebounds and just Fred VanVleet coming down right as Jusuf Nurkic brings down the ball. Fred VanVleet, such a crafty NBA player. There's a reason he's 6 foot flat. He looks like he's 5'10" out there on the court, but finds himself a role in the NBA in a starting role and getting paid some of the highest money in the entire league. But still happy with how he plays, the kind of energy that he brings to the table. I also wanted to touch on the bench minutes from Bol Bol, 7 points and 4 rebounds at a plus 13. Love to see it. Thank you so much, Frank Vogel, for continuing to put him in the game. That's all I can say in that part.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We need him to be a factor. Love to see it. I really like Eubanks in that 15-minute range. Mm-hmm. Like 15, maybe he can creep up to 20 some nights, depending on how things are going. But I think that's just a kind of a great mix of how this bench should go. One other question I wanted to have for you. I've heard some people say this, like on the national media level. When Beal comes back, and so we already have those 4 starters. We got the big 3 plus Nurkic. Has Royce O'Neal shown you enough to take Grayson's spot? We see in this game Grayson's a -9. He has 6 points, 2 for 9 from 3. Maybe it's just an off night. Maybe it's just certain matchups. The Rockets are a really athletic team. How do you feel about that 5th starter spot with the way Royce O'Neal's been playing?
Man, I love what Royce brings to the table. He also plays bigger because you can't make the argument that Grayson Allen has a little bit more size to him. I mean, Royce has played that 5 position before. Yeah. He's played the 5 position 4 on those Nets teams with KD, Kyrie, and Harden. So I mean, he has the ability to go ahead and play that small ball little aspect that he can do, run pick and roll if he needs to. It's just hard to say because Grayson really feels like he's just earned it this year. He's had so many huge games for us this year. At this very moment in time, I want to say keep Grayson there right now, but I do see a world where playoffs come around. Hey, Grayson, we need you to come off the bench and just fire the shit out of that ball. When you get it in the corner, you need to shoot that shit every single time. We don't even want you taking it to the rack. Actually, I take that back. I love a Grayson Allen drive. That dude's good for like one try to hammer it down and get fouled once every 2 games, and it's one of my favorite plays.
He's an athlete. Like people forget Grayson Allen is still an athlete, and for a team that lacks athleticism for the most part, like Beal, Booker, and Durant are not guys that you would say they aren't great because they're just freak athletes. I mean, at that point, like Drew Eubanks might be the best, most athletic guy on the team, which is kind of weird.
Unironically.
So yeah, I feel like for matchups, some series maybe Grayson does do better coming off the bench, and certain games. It also depends on who's going to close. That's honestly the more important question, and that's going to be really matchup based, whether it's Royce or Grayson in those final minutes. And Jusuf Nurkic might not be in a lot of closing lineups depending on who we're like. If we're playing the Thunder, Nurkic is not touching the floor in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and especially with the free throws all of a sudden, which I'll touch on in just a second. But I wanted to hit you with the counter question. Who do you think is a better ball handler? Is it Royce or is it Grayson? Because, at points, we like both of those guys bringing up the ball at points, and it's kind of forced to at points with Grayson just to get into our action with having Devin come off some screens. What are you feeling in that aspect?
I think just seeing Grayson more this season, I have more faith in that. I've just seen it more often. Not that I don't dislike that about Royce, but I think Grayson can kind of fit into that point guard slot just a little bit more comfortably. It's not exactly ideal, but I would give the edge to him there. But defensively, even though Grayson is a very plus defender, like very good, I would give the edge to Royce there. So it's just, it depends on who you got coming up.
And it's a great problem to have as a Suns team stepping back, considering that all this year, all the media can talk about was, our starting five is pretty damn good, but nobody else can go ahead and step up. And it's cool to have guys like Bol coming off the bench, potentially Royce or Grayson, as we just talked about. Those are some high-end NBA players. I mean, you got a guy who's almost leading the league in three-point shooting. You got a guy like Royce O'Neal who can just come out there, grab you offensive rebounds if need be, hit some three-pointers. It's a great issue to have. Something I didn't want to talk about in specifics, though, was also the Alperen Şengün technical foul where he got ejected. Looking back on that, Şengün, you had a point, bro. That's what
Eddie Johnson even said. That's what Eddie Johnson was like, I could see why he would be upset.
Flat out, because Şengün was straight up right there, and Nurkic just completely went into him and got the foul.
And you don't want that to be a foul, even if you're a Suns fan.
Yeah.
Because you want Nurkic to get that same benefit of the doubt on the other end. So
1,000%.
I totally got his frustration there. The ref was to eject him on. That was his first technical. He didn't get another technical earlier, did he?
Yeah, it wasn't. But no, he hadn't gotten a technical. But I think he got his money's worth. Eddie Johnson has said, and even if you look at the replay, Şengün looks like he was ready to punch whoever ref that was.
Fair.
He hit him with two of these head fakes at him. So that'll come get you bite you in the ass.
But then we also had the D-Book and Cam Whitmore tussle in the fourth as well. We had known they were jawing at each other in the game earlier last week. And Devin Booker hits a big time three, is chirping right back at him, and Cam Whitmore just it's the NBA, dude. You can't let your emotions get the better of you in that sort of situation, because that just hurts his team. I know they double teched it. I don't think Booker should have gotten a technical. Last I checked, talking shit shouldn't be. And when some guy starts pushing at you and trying to swing his arms at you and you're getting him off of you, I don't think that's retaliation. I think that's self-defense. And I think that needs to be taken into a little bit more account. That might just be the Suns homer in me. So I thought Cam Whitmore was bullshitting. I thought that was all Cam Whitmore, and I thought Booker was just talking. And we encourage shit talking in the NBA. Let him keep doing it.
We do. Just for the people watching who might say something back to you, there was a little bit of a bump if you look at the replay of how Booker was doing.
He bumped him.
Fine, we're throwing it out the window then. But looking at a grander scale, TJ, you kind of already touched on it. The continuous issue we see with blown leads. As you said, we were up 21 at one point during this game. And don't quote me on this. I think it was it was all the way down to we were just up 2, or maybe it was just 4 in the fourth quarter.
I can confirm that real quick.
That just kind of shit. That's kind of shit that can't happen. We had Hack and Nurkic going on in that game. Ime Udoka was just like, hey, I mean, bros continually went 1 for 2 or 0 for 2 at the line. Let's go ahead and foul him right away. I don't think I've seen that for Jusuf Nurkic.
It got down to 4 in the very near the end, right before we squeaked it out and won by 5.
Yes,
but we were up like 13 with like 4 minutes left.
Yeah, we were.
So it was definitely just a steady decline in terms of our lead. Like we win the first quarter, we dominate that first quarter. We lose the second by 5, we tie in the third, and then we lose the fourth by 6. Like that's just how leads crumble in the NBA. So it wasn't exactly an end-to-end dominating performance, but you have to be happy when you get the job done, especially when we've been just crying about getting wins at the end of the day. Point differential does not make a difference. Let's just get the win.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. And then I found it super, super interesting and new statistic. We lost a turnover battle, so I mean, I had to dive deep for that one. It's something new we've never seen before for the Suns losing that turnover battle. So
never. I did want to, from a big picture Suns standpoint, kind of dive into their advanced stats, just their offensive and defensive ratings, because we've really climbed up the league in both regards, right? We're up to 8th in offensive rating, and we're nipping right at the heels of the Mavericks. And it's reasonable, I think, to say that when we have Beal in the lineup, I haven't pulled up the lineup data with our big three, but I think it's reasonable to say that we're a top 5 offense, right?
Yeah.
Defensive rating, we've climbed up. We're 13th in the league now,
wow.
Which we had been in the 20s really early on in the season when we were panicking the most. And again, we're right behind the teams in front of us. We're right behind the Sixers in defensive rating, and that's a team that obviously with losing Embiid, they've dropped there. They're going down in the opposite direction. But still, they've been a solid defense for most of the year, and we've had really bad injury luck as well. So just kind of want to give credit there because we have been really improving, even though maybe it doesn't always feel like it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because that's something that you need to look at any championship team throughout history is a top 5 offensive rating and at least above league average in defensive rating. So I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, I mean, any thoughts going into this next game against the Rockets for what feels like the 13,000th time this season? Yeah. I think it's just because it's been such a short span, but any thoughts right away for this next game?
I really want us to, Booker specifically, to, galvanize the group around that Cam Whitmore bullshit. And the Sengun, even though Sengun was justified in what he did, you can still spin that into, hey, these teams they're just a bunch of whiny little brats. They don't know what NBA basketball really fucking is. This is their first year playing real NBA basketball. So let's show these fuckers what a championship team looks like. And that's what I want to see. I want us to see to stop playing with our food with these guys. This is the perfect kind of setup preparation for a playoff series where you've seen them back to back or in 2 games in a really short span. You should know everything about these guys by now. That's something I know we give Doc Rivers shit for saying, hey, it's a game 7. We played these guys 6 times. What more can I tell you? But he has a point there where it's like, hey, you guys have to be professional basketball players at the end of the day and show this really young team what it means to be a championship contender. Because in the last couple games, we have not shown that.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I think that's a great assessment to go off of. I'd also want to see Jalen Green not go ahead and have his fucking career high it looked like out there with hitting all of his shots. I mean, bro was just hitting every single 3. I don't think that we're going to see that again. Like I said, without an ejected Sengun, who knows how this game goes. We had our boy, former son, Jock Landale, the Australian beast out there.
The boy.
But, no, I think you're right. This is a playoff setting, and it'd be a good tone to set off of for this next schedule that we have coming up. That's looking extremely rough. It would be cool to come out starting off swinging right here with a little win streak. We're on a 2-game win streak. Let's turn it into 3 and see where we can extend it from there.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, anything else on the Suns early on in the pod?
Nah, feeling good there. I feel good about the game tonight. I have really high hopes for this team coming out swinging. So we'll just wait and see, and we'll be talking about it early next week.
Bradley Beal potentially coming back tonight. We saw news reports early this morning, so let's see.
I'm not going to put too much stock into it. I'm going to as far as my head is concerned, he is not playing tonight. Because that's a much better way to approach it than assuming he's going to play and not. I don't want that disappointment, and I think we can clearly beat the Rockets. If we can't beat the Rockets without Bradley Beal consistently, then we deserve to be in the play-in race. That's just where things are going to fall. GG's,
let's just cash it in at that point.
Exactly.
I think you're right. All right, well, let's go to break right here. Next up, we're talking about the Adam Silver offensive issues and his solutions to it. Coming up next.
So all of his best songs on Apple Music are all just kind of horny club songs. And I'm you know me, I'm not that's not really my cup of tea.
And we're back. Adam Silver had a quote with, or I guess this isn't his quote necessarily, but just talks around the league from pretty official sources saying that the NBA's competition committee has officially begun reviewing whether the game has become too advantageous for offense and whether some changes need to be implemented to achieve better balance. So TJ, I thought it'd be interesting if we went over some ideas as to how one can make the game a little less advantageous, kick my ass, for offenses in this league. And I have a duo of ideas, so I'll start us off and you can hit us with yours.
Yep.
Now, even when we look at Luka Doncic's interview with JJ Redick from about 3 years ago, He touches on how this is one of the most impactful rule changes that makes it so much easier for him to score in the NBA. And it's being able to run your action at the top of the key, especially in like a heliocentric way. For the viewers, that just means ball hogging and dribbling the shit out the ball until you make something magnificent happen. And just eyeball the help defense in the paint until they have to step out of it, allowing you to attack the rim, which could lead to the easiest shot in basketball, a layup, or for a potential and one. And so, TJ, I think we need to eliminate the 3-second in the key rule that we currently have. And I wanted to ask you...
For the defense,
right? Sorry, yes, for the defense, not for the offense. But I wanted to ask you, who in the league would benefit from this rule change and who would it hurt the most? Some of the guys I have at the top of my head, and I know I'm really high on this guy, so are you, but it might make the GOAT conversation for Wembanyama even larger for his 8-foot standing frame. Rudy Gobert and Walker Kessler would greatly benefit from this. Do you think that would be huge for these rim protecting centers that we got in the league?
Yeah, no, that would absolutely be huge, and I don't even think I need to explain why. Like, it's just kind of obvious if they're able to plant down there, it's going to be better. Wembanyama, I guess since they moved him to center, he has been a much better rim protector, obviously, because he's doing more protecting the rim. But I do still kind of like him as like a floater defender, kind of like a free safety where he's coming in on the help side rather than just being planted at the paint. So I don't know if that's what their strategy would be, but still obviously would help them a ton. When you said who it would hurt, though, funny enough, the first name that jumped into my mind was Giannis.
Yes, that's what I have in my notes, yes.
Because he's the guy that he just gets downhill and gets to the rim and benefits the most from there just being less bodies down there. Not saying that it would like neutralize Giannis. He's still a fucking freak. But I do think that would be a big shift for him and his just general approach. Same with that would have hurt, Russell Westbrook in a lot of those prime years. It's going to hurt guys it's going to hurt all the smaller guards. So there's going to be a little bit, maybe a little bit less. That might encourage more three-point shooting. Who knows? But that's definitely an interesting one. I like where your head's at.
For sure, and even to touch on the three-point shooting, like you said, this rule was implemented back in the days where it had to stop guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar from just absolutely dominating the game. And so you look at it, and it's just a completely different era that we exist in. That if you want to run 5-out spread, go ahead and do it. Like that is a way where you can go ahead and neutralize that if you want. That's how you kill guys like Rudy Gobert. Even the playoffs we saw where Trey Mann, they said, hey, you got to go ahead and beat us from the corner three if that's you're going to win, and they did, So, I mean, there's still absolutely ways to go ahead and go about running defenses like that or countering defenses in that way. And I think, you see it ran around the entire world. I mean, everywhere except the United States, the NBA has this rule implemented. You look at Euroball, that's why guys' stats are a lot lower. You're not seeing as much, contesting at the rim. So that was the exact person I had too, was Giannis. I still think he'll be able to just go ahead and just run straight at you and dunk on you. I don't think that might be an issue. Maybe a little bit dip in points per game. Do you think this will affect guys like Shea a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. Those are the like when I mentioned, Kyrie struggling with that rule somewhat. It's not that they wouldn't score; they'd still score a ton of points. It would just be a little bit differently because it just wouldn't be as easy. But I do think Shea. Do you want to go into your second one, or can I give one of mine?
No, yeah, go ahead and give yours.
Because I think something that Shea benefits from a ton, that Trae Young benefits from a ton, is just the fact that the offense always gets the benefit of the doubt. And so I don't think this is a rule that it can't just be a hard and fast rule. You can't just put one line into the NBA bylaws to fix this part of it. It has to be through like retraining your officials into recognizing fouls and who it should, kind of adjusting who they should actually be called on. If the offense initiates things and the defense is bumping, I just want to see more. I want to see that referees let them play on a little bit more through the contact. Obviously, you have to stop it from getting too physical and turn it into just like melee brawls. But I don't think I think that's very doable in this league. So I think that's the shift that I would want to see, is just a shift in the way the referees approach the game and really give some benefit of the doubt to the defense in terms of fouling, where it's like, oh, that offensive player just initiated all of that contact. The defensive player had no other option but to just take it to the chest.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Crazy voice crack right there. No, so TJ, can I go ahead and just intertwine my second one with yours? And I think a place that we do see that happen is the playoffs. And so I think that we just need to go ahead and treat officiating in the most simple way. keep it consistent within the regular season and the playoffs.
Yeah,
we're always complaining about, you know what I'm saying? We're always complaining about guys, how they go from averaging 10 free throws a game during the regular season, dropping to 6, just because it's the playoffs. The whistle gets a little tighter. I mean, why do we change the rules in the playoffs? Like, it doesn't make sense to me personally. I have to go into conspiracy mode brain here and just say it allows for more ads during the regular season because, during the playoffs, the NBA wants to increase their product. They know more eyes are going to be on it. They want to keep people engaged as long as possible, so they swallow the whistle. And they're always complaining about regular season views being down. That is the reason why, because nobody wants to watch games where people are putting their shoulder down into you and just bumping back out as the defense beats them to the spot, but they're still getting punished for the defense. So I think me and you are in the exact same boat here. I think we're on the same page. I kind of want to go and ask you the question for this rule that we're talking about. Same thing. Who would this benefit most and who would this hurt the most, you think?
So it's definitely going to hurt guys like SGA, who get a ton of free throws. Joel Embiid, going to hurt him. Trae Young, probably going to hurt him. But
Harden would have won an MVP in 2018.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I do think guys like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant would benefit from that. They don't get the most free throw attempts in the world. They know how to, and they don't really get all that favorable whistle. It feels like most nights, and that's some Suns bias and just always thinking that your team can do no wrong. But I think we've demonstrated a pretty fair viewpoint about the Suns, though. So
we've been on their ass.
A little bit of trust there to know that I'm not a total homer. But yeah, so I think guys like that would benefit. Jason Tatum would, because he doesn't get a ton of free throws per game. I think he shoots like 8 a game or around there. So he would benefit. He'd probably be like leader in the MVP race this year if that was how it was officiated and just how they played. But yeah, it is dumb to just have the contrast from the regular season to the postseason be like a total flip in how things are officiated. You don't see that in any other sports. The NFL and they're calling the same penalties in the regular season they call in the playoffs. So I'm totally with you there, and that's a pretty easy switch. And that's another thing where it's just changing the referee's mindset about it more than a single rule.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Do you think guys like Luka Doncic would benefit or would be more hurt from it? And I feel like wouldn't it also get rid of a lot of the bitching and moaning about it? Maybe. I mean, the first season it's definitely going to be rough. Guys used to get in their calls. We even saw it with the pump fake jump shots. Guys still complaining about that shit, even though that was an obvious rule change that they were trying to implement immediately. And you still see it sometimes to this day, and they call it, which is a little confusing. But do you think Luka Doncic would be hurt more or would benefit from it?
He would figure it out. It would hurt him at first because he knows how to just manipulate the game in that way and get free throws when he needs them. But he's also a basketball genius, so I think that it wouldn't be too much of a learning curve for him or for even for a guy like SGA who probably benefits the most from free throws. Same with Embiid. I think maybe the first 20 games it's a real adjustment, but after that you just got to figure it out.
That's what I'm saying, and we're not asking them to completely shift the chain, the way that the game is played. At the end of the day, it's basketball. These are the highest level talents that we got in the league. These guys are going to be able to figure it out regardless. At the end
and
of the
day. That's how every other level plays. The NCAA tournament isn't officiated any differently. The only difference is okay, maybe this conference focuses on a few things, and then in the NCAA tournament, it's national referees. But those are very minute changes at the grand scheme of things. So 100% my next rule change is I think an easy rule. You just type this into the bylaws and you're good. I think we need to bring back the 5-second count closely guarded. Right now in the NBA, it's only a player below the free throw line extended cannot dribble with their back or the side to the basket for more than 5 seconds. But everywhere else, there's no limit. And I've never seen that actually get called. At all other levels of basketball that have this rule, from high school to FIBA, it's just the only difference in the rules is the distance that's considered closely guarded. At some levels, it's 5 feet. At some levels, it's 3 feet. In EuroLeague basketball and FIBA basketball, it's a meter, so basically 3-ish feet. And I think that's one that would just give an immediate boost to the defense, rewards guys for getting down into a stance and really getting into somebody defensively. And I just think that would really shift things. Guys aren't stalling the ball; they have to move, and the defense has a way to force the offense to do something. And I think that would be a really positive change for the defense.
I personally love that. Like you said, it's going to reward guys. It's going to create this is going to sound like a fucking economy man over here, but it's going to create more jobs in the league. I mean, you got guys out there just being able to keep people in front and cause turnovers that much easier. And the product of the game as a whole, people complain and bitch about there being a huge isolation gap now between now and how it used to be in the league. And that would just absolutely deter that. You got guys swinging the ball, more off-ball movement coming around. It's just way more enjoyable. I mean, you look at teams like the Nuggets, the Warriors, they're very much so just pass-heavy, and that's some of the funnest basketball to watch in the league.
And you still get, right, you get 4.5 seconds to make a move one-on-one.
Yep.
I think that's when we see these guys practice, like those Team USA one-on-one videos. Those are all like 5-second possessions where it's 2-3 dribble max and just go into your move. And I think that would help a ton. That would impact Luka a lot, I think.
Yes.
It would impact Devin Booker and Kevin Durant quite a bit, but I think they could also benefit from just having the mentality of, okay, let me just get into my move quicker rather than sitting around and just waiting for nothing to happen.
Yeah, I personally would love it as a Suns fan. Love Devin Booker more than the average Suns fan even, but this motherfucker will sometimes just stand there with the rock staring at his opponent for a good 8 seconds just to shave off the clock, and I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired. I'm tired of being tired about it.
And you kind of get why. Like, part of it is you get a few extra seconds rest. Part of it, he knows what move he's going to make, and it's just maybe looking for a cutter or something, but really he's just kind of stalling. So, I'm with you. And definitely think the NBA needs to get that implemented, sooner rather than later.
I think going over our rule changes, TJ, I think that one's my favorite. I think I like the 5 second the best out of all of them because, like I said, goes ahead and just. I mean, I do like the 3 second rule, the defensive 3 second rule as well, because I also think that will create more positions in the league, give guys better opportunities to get out there on the floor because there's value in being tall as shit and understanding, protecting the rim as protecting the easiest shot in basketball, at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But I think I like that 5 second rule a little bit more just because, like I said, it's a way, it's such an amplifier too, because if you've played at a level where you've gotten a 5 second call on somebody, just absolutely clamping them up, the whole team gets a huge boost. I mean, you as a defender, you're about to get a bucket. Like, you're about to come down and get an offensive rebound put back. Like, you were hyped up. You were amped. That could be huge in a momentum-shifting game right there. So I think that's a great rule to implement.
Who do you think would lead the league in forced 5 second counts? Because that would be great that would give, like, perimeter players a huge boost in Defensive Player of the Year voting, too. Like, I know Marcus Smart just got one, but that's a really rare thing to see. It's always the big men.
Yeah, 100%. Just off the top of my head, it is already guys that we give a lot of flowers to defensively, but I've seen Marcus Smart do it countless times where he just gets guys, a little riled up, just keeping them in front and putting them in a torture chamber. You got guys like Lou Dort, who's definitely going to have a few of those a game. A guy that's not universally liked, but I can't lie, watching him these last couple of times, I do like some of the defensive possessions that he exhibits. Dylan Brooks, he has a lot of times where he's just completely mucking it up, keeping guys in front. He's so physical, even off ball, it still kind of blows my mind. We didn't really touch on it, but he kind of gets away with a lot. Like, he would just straight up just intertwine with you and just hit you
that's the benefit of being a shithead, is that they just kind of, they're just like, shit, if we're going to call it every time, this game's going to be 4 hours long.
Example, Draymond Green.
Yeah, but one name I think you're missing is Herb Jones.
Oh.
I think Herb might be the lead leaguer in those. Oh. I think he, with the length and the speed, I think he might be the number 1 draft pick for that one.
I didn't want to bring it up, TJ, but since you brought up Herb Jones, I think I have to mention how Tyrese Halliburton played 40 minutes and had 0 points as Herb Jones was the primary defender on him last night.
Dude,
that was
he's
disgusting.
Like that. He's elite.
He is like that. Yeah,
elite.
New Orleans, hold on to him with everything you have. Please clutch onto him.
Or send him to Phoenix.
Yeah. Sure, I'll take him. Fuck it.
We'll appreciate him.
We would. But I think that's going to wrap up this section of the pod for talking about what rule changes can potentially be implemented. Next up, we have something that I'm kind of excited for. It's going to be the face of the league draft. Me and TJ got a little Abraham Lincoln right here for us to flip because that first overall pick is going to be huge. Coming up next.
Flipping a penny.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I did. You fucking cracker.
And here with the face of the draft, me and TJ are going through a draft to see who will become the face of the league once LeBron is completely washed or retires. I'd have to assume the latter comes first. But we'll go back and forth. And TJ, I have a coin here. As I said, the first pick is going to be pretty damn important. Call it in the air, okay? I know there's a little bit of a delay, but call it in the air, okay?
All right. Tails.
Just going off land. And it's heads right here, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you. I know you're just going to have to go with my... Just gonna have to go with my trustworthy. And the first overall pick, thought long and hard about this one, and it's Victor Wembanyama, the 7'5" Frenchman out here. Great on the mic. We've already had a few amazing moments from him. The classic All-Star, what the fuck is this? Talking about Greg Popovich being his coach. We saw him absolutely electrify that whole entire San Antonio crowd the other night against their win against SGA and the Thunder. I mean, he is just the face of the league, flat out. It's going to be kind of nerve-wracking. This is going to be maybe a little nervous for the NBA to have an international player be the complete face of the league. But I think it's time. I mean, the league has completely shifted into a way where, it's all international players. You look at the top 5, you could potentially make the argument that all top 5 players in the league are international. Even if you go down that top 10 list, you still got guys like Domantas Sabonis coming on that list. So, I mean, huge names for the international. I think this guy is legit. We have a video dropping tomorrow talking about comparing the rookie seasons of LeBron James versus Victor Wembanyama on the Dash and Hoop channel. So, I mean, very comparable early on season. He's hitting all the early strides that you need to show that he can be the face. It looks like he kind of wants it too. I mean, you even see that matchup against Chet. He really brings it. Like it's kind of like a real rivalry at this point, and I love it. It feels fairly generic. I mean, fairly genuine. Like it's actually happening here. Organic is what I meant to say. And I absolutely just love him. Me and TJ were talking about the other day. Are we too old to have this be our guy of the generation? And I think the answer is no. I mean, you see guys like our fathers. I mean, was your dad a LeBron guy?
Not until Cleveland, the second Cleveland stint.
Not until second Cleveland stint. But yeah, I was telling him like my pops was cool with the LeBron train. He was about my age, the same time as Victor Wembanyama was. At the same time as LeBron was coming into the league. So I mean, it just goes to show you that this guy can absolutely change the history of the league. And if we go back to taking rid of the defensive 3-second call, this guy could really turn into the best defensive player of all time. Do you have any words for Victor Wembanyama, TJ?
Nah, he probably already will be the best defensive player of all time without that. Yeah. Just like his pure counting stats this year, 20 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, 1.3 steals, 3.3 blocks. That's every night he just has some sort of insane stat line that's never been done. He just had what was the 5x5 recently. He's gonna have a quadruple double eventually. The last one to do it was David Robinson too, so that's crazy.
In 1992.
Yeah, and honestly, like he's just the clear first pick in terms of that. Like he probably already has some of the best ticket prices, and his team's not even good. So like when he comes to your town, you better buy those tickets well in advance, right? So I'm totally with you, and honestly super jealous that I didn't get the first pick because Wemby is the guy.
He's the guy, and I think the second overall pick. I already know you like this guy a lot. I'm just going off of telepathy right here. I think I know who you're gonna pick, but I think this guy. If you had $100 into whose stock you're putting in, I think Wemby gets 80 of those dollars. But I think this guy can get the rest of the 20. To be honest with you, but go ahead, TJ. Who is this guy?
Anthony Edwards.
There you go.
It's all about forget the stats for a minute. It's just all about the attitude and energy he plays with. He's, when he's going at Kawhi, calling him old at the free throw line. And Kawhi's response almost felt like a respectful response in terms of like, okay, like this kid actually is next up. Like we understand that. Obviously, we're going to still put it on him as best as we can, but there's like a respect level there. He just carries himself like the best player on the planet every night. At the All-Star weekend, we had I think Bill Simmons had made this joke, and we had talked before like, my guess was Ant's going to come in and just play super hard in the All-Star game, and he just did the complete opposite and was like, I'm going to care less than anybody. So in a way, that's also kind of cool. He spoke out against it. He's like, I don't view it as competitive. Nobody does. Like, so why am I going to come out here and bust my ass? His point totals have gone up each year. He's at 26 a game now. His three-point field goal percentage has gone up every year. His free throw percentage is at a career high. His effective field goal percentage has gone up every year. He continues to get better, and he's cut from the Michael Jordan cloth. You see it when he plays. I don't want to throw that comparison around lightly. Michael Jordan was way better at this point. Although I do think this would technically be his rookie, like compared to Michael Jordan, if he had stayed in college as long as Michael did, this would be like his rookie year. Yeah. So he's just absolutely balling, leading his team to the best record in the West. I think it's very clearly Anthony Edwards as my future face of the league bet.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why I think you would put $20 into Ant, because, like you said, he carries himself in such a manner that's like you have to respect him. You look at him being the head of the monster that is currently the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it's hard not to take them seriously just because of Anthony Edwards in a lot of ways. I mean, you look at any of the downplays of the Timberwolves having success in the postseason, you never hear anybody talking about Anthony Edwards. Like, it's never been an issue. Even last year against the Denver Nuggets in those games, he had multiple clutch performances. You've seen him had multiple clutch performances this year. The one that always sticks out is against the Boston Celtics, where he just completely clamps down Jason Tatum and gets that jump ball, and it's just like, those are the type of things that you need in order to be the face of the league, the guy. And I mean, I think he wants it. There was a discussion, I can't remember which podcast it was for, but I feel like you have to want it if you want to be the face of the league. And I think Anthony Edwards is more than willing to take that at his young age of 22 years old. And I'm just absolutely enthralled to see the rest of his career. I think that he's gonna win an MVP at some point. It's super tough in this league, even having guys, as we just said, Victor Wembanyama, as we have guys like Nikola Jokic still aging like fine wine. I mean, I know he's still young, but even at 33, Jokic is probably still going to be in those top 3 conversations as long as he has those Denver Nuggets rolling and he's just having triple doubles with his eyes closed. But I think he has a genuine conversation for being the guy, and he does have, this is just the fact of the NBA world. This is not how I stand, but he does have that American factor on his side. He is, Atlanta born. He's got that little, he's got the swag. Like, I'll just keep it real. He's got the swag factor to him as well. He dresses nice. I'm getting a little glazing area at this point of describing Anthony Edwards, but I do think that he has high potential to be the face of the league.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Okay. And maybe it's a shock. I wasn't super high on him on his draft year either, because that was the COVID draft, so you just didn't really know about anybody. But yeah, I just love that guy. He's definitely
Your ass
my
would have
favorite
took Wiseman over him.
Oh my, get the fuck out of here. That guy played like 7 I think he only played like 1 college game, actually.
That's nasty.
All right, who you got next? Who's your second pick?
Next up, I have an American. I do. I think it's going to be Jason Tatum. Okay. You look at Jason Tatum being only 25 years old still, going into, is he 26?
So he turns 26 tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
I looked at
today,
still 25. But
he's still a young 25.
But this is something funny I saw, was that because of the leap year, he's technically 25 in 365 days. So he would technically already be 26, but his technical birthday is tomorrow. So sorry, that was just a dumb thing that I saw on Basketball Reference.
So you just don't follow the calendar properly, is what you're saying? No, you don't really care about the leap days?
Fuck you. I'm the most pro leap day person you know.
Shout out Tyrese Halliburton birthday.
There you go. He turned what?
Leap day.
8. He turned like 6.
Yeah, I turned 6. Yep, shout out to him on the road to 7. But Jason Tatum, he's still super early on in his career, has some of the most playoff wins out of anybody in the league currently at only 25 years old, absolutely dominates, consistently going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Do with what you will with that fact, because a lot of people do attribute the success to the Celtics to being the front office and to the talent that they surround them with. But he's the head of this snake, just as we talked about with Anthony Edwards, and it's not like he's pushing 30. Like I said, it feels like he is. It feels like he's pushing 30 just because of how long he's been in the league. But he's on an absolutely dominant team, have a super high chance. Most people would put most of their stock into the Celtics winning a championship this year. And as we said before, you got high expectations on the Celtics just because you do got, interviews with Jaylen Brown where he's trying to impress our girl out there, trying to say that they'll win 5 in a row. But I do think this team has genuine chances to be, I don't want to say the D word just off of, just from what we've seen, but a potential dynasty. And if we do see a dynasty with the Celtics team, it's going to be hard for us to not put him in that conversation as face of the league. You're talking about a guy who has never gotten any scandals off the court, a guy who's very family oriented. You could see a lot of the LeBron factors that we saw in his career, just in terms of the off court stuff, in terms of success, how he talks about his teammates. Relatively humble guy, it seems. Doesn't do a ton of interviews, but when you do see them, very down to earth dude. But I think Jason Tatum could absolutely do it. And I know he's gotten a lot of slander as of late just because he is on such a successful team and he's moving up in those MVP ladders, even though he's dropping 20 bombs here and there. But do you have any thoughts on that right away? Did I fumble the bag here?
No, I think you're right. I had another player ahead of him on my list, but Tatum was definitely coming up soon. I do, and I just wanted to echo the part about being like a family man. That just really helps him out too. Like having his son be somewhat famous in NBA circles. I think that just paints him in a little bit different light as in terms of like from a character standpoint. And yeah, and right here it says if he wins this year, he could just take that face title like pretty quickly. It could turn around quick going into next season. He's already got some sponsorship deals. He's a Jordan athlete. He has a signature shoe, right? They had those come out already. So
big Ruffles guy.
Yeah, I'm totally there. I'm with you with Jason Tatum. And yeah, literally my first note is that it feels like he's already 30, but only 26. Like he's still got plenty of time in this league.
Yeah, and it definitely helps to be on a big market team. I mean, that's where Anthony Edwards does get hit a little bit, just being in that Minnesota area. But, the historic dynasties that the Boston Celtics have had from the 80s or the 60s, that's just another echelon of dominance that's going to help in his case for being face of the league. And so, I mean, I'm pretty confident in that pick for my number 2 in the draft. TJ, who do you got at your number 2 pick?
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
There you go.
I thought about going with another foreign guy here, but I think SGA surprisingly kind of edges this guy out, being from the same draft class. I just think still surprising in how good he is. Only 25 and in the MVP race for the second year in a row. He could even potentially be above Ant in some way. He's better than Ant right now. He's just consistent every night. I know people bitch about the free throws, but just go get yours. If they're gonna call it, take advantage of it. And he also gets the Kyrie cool boost. Like there was a period where Kyrie was the most popular guy in the league. Wasn't the face, but was definitely like amongst like young people.
Far, kind of, right?
By far. And I think he gets that boost because he is just kind of a cool, laid back dude that just scores in super creative and fun ways. I think they have a real chance of being. He has a real chance of being MVP and Finals MVP this year if everything breaks right in the playoffs, and that would take like kind of like the young guy title, like just rip it away from whoever else thinks they have it.
Ooh, no, he's definitely on my list right here, SGA. So it's a great pickup right there. So, I think he is there. I'm a little confused as to why the NBA doesn't push him harder. Do you ever feel that way as well? Just because I feel like he plays a fun brand of basketball. Mm-hmm. It's a type of basketball that a lot of people could try to emulate. I mean, way easier said than done, obviously. But, he's not getting to the rim and just yamming on people. He does have a poster here and there that obviously I enjoy. But he definitely has a game where it feels like you could implement some of the things in terms of the herky-jerkiness, in terms of the pull-ups, in terms of the craftiness around the rim. So, I mean, I think this is a great pick. Like you said, I do think this could be the next Kyrie-esque player in the league. And I think even when you talk to a lot of young people today, is a lot of their favorite players is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Man, if he won an MVP and a Finals MVP, we might have to start talking about him different.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking it up from like a shoe perspective too. He signed with Converse, which is kind of cool, quirky thing to do. I haven't heard of any new like Converse shoes coming up. I've always wanted a pair of Converse weapons though, like the 80s, like number 1 basketball shoe. That's like my dream. I've always wanted a pair of those. But yeah, that's just another little wrinkle to it. Maybe he can definitely climb up those face things. And this summer we have the Summer Olympics. Him playing with Canada, that's going to elevate his stardom to a different level because they're really going to be potentially competing for a gold medal there. So yeah, I'm all there with SGA. And also, it looks like we've got the same top 4 so far, right? I assume you had SGA next, unless you had somebody above him.
Yep. I did have this guy above him. I won't lie. And there was actually a guy that I wanted to go with really bad. I thought you were going to take the guy that I'm going to take. And I almost gave this guy over the pick over SGA, which I know sounds a little ludicrous, but I just want to give him his flowers and just remind everybody how much he was loved by the entire league. And that is Ja Morant. He kind of seems like a forgotten. Hey, well, hold on. Calm down. we saw him at a very early age leading his teams deep in the playoff runs. Like time after time, it felt like that the Grizzlies were a problem. But I do think that John Morant deserves some of his flowers. That's not the guy I'm picking, just so everybody knows. I just want to give him a quick little shout out. I have Luka Doncic, the wizard of basketball. And the reason I was a little hesitant to pick him is because it seems like the face of the league has to be a good guy. And it feels like Luka's turning more into the villain character in the league. A lot of people are already hating on him. Obviously, you got the Luka defenders wherever you go.
Yeah. Especially because he's cut from the Harden cloth, where Harden was very polarizing in his style of play. So unless he shifts his approach and instead of being so ball dominant, I think that hurts him in that face of the league conversation, no matter how popular, how talented he is. Like, he's 34 points a game. He was next on my list, but I went with SGA because of that factor and like the watchability of his game.
Yes, no, it's super sexy. I think Luka Doncic is a better passer than Harden was. I also think, I'll say it, I do think that he's probably better than Harden at this time. I don't know.
Definitely at the same age. Definitely at the age.
Oh, at the age, yes, 1,000%. Yeah. But yeah, I'm taking a step further, and I think that he's better than Harden than he was at that top season. Just because, I don't know, I love the shot making. I think the passing is a lot better. The defense is about the same at the end of the day.
I'm gonna need you to slow down a second there when you look at how their records and how much better those Harden teams. Those Harden teams were the only teams that went toe to toe with the Kevin Durant Warriors. So I just
you're right. They had Christopher Emmanuel Paul though.
As a Harden fan, I have to push back on that. He's not better than him yet. He's not better than peak Harden yet.
I think you forget who Christopher Emmanuel Paul is. I mean, he was still absolutely carrying teams. Shit, you go 2 years ahead of time, and he's still helping carry teams to the end of games. So, I mean, I don't know. Last time I checked, they ended up losing that game because Chris Paul was hurt. I don't know. Call me crazy. But I do think that he's about damn near at that level. I really hope that this is not a direct one-to-one comparison, but I hope it's a Jordan-ish type of ordeal where Jordan just completely had to dominate those seasons, especially like 88 where he won his MVP, where he was just completely ball dominant. There's a lot of questions as to whether he could ever go ahead and figure out how to play with teammates such as he did. So maybe we just need someone to replace Jason Kidd right here and go ahead and take that position or implement a complete different style or maybe find a different piece for the team. I mean, Kyrie Irving is the most loved player. If you ask any NBA player, I feel like 80% of them will tell you that Kyrie Irving is their favorite player for some reason. I love Kyrie too, but he seems like maybe he just gets along with everybody really well. But I think that I think that Luka has a case right here on his hands. And like I said, the only thing that deters me from it is from him potentially becoming a villain. I think he's on a much different trajectory than like a Dirk was, because it feels like Dirk is pretty universally loved by people, especially after that 2011 chip. I mean, I know he got a lot of hate after that 06 finals loss. They're saying the soft European will never win, choke artist, blah, blah, blah here and there. But I do think that Luka Doncic does have a case, just because off of pure skill. And like I said, I hope he figures it out like Jordan, because we do have a generational talent on our hands if he does figure it out.
Yeah, I'm with you, and he can definitely turn it around and figure things out. He's still going to win probably multiple MVP awards before it's all said and done. Has a real case to win it this year as well, depending on where the Mavericks fall in the standings. So yeah, he was the next guy on my list as well. But I went a little bit, maybe a little out of left field with my final pick. Wanted to go with another kind of younger guy that I really believe in, and it's Paolo Banchero.
Ooh, great pick.
He's 20 years old, or 21 years old. He's averaging, 2 more points per game this year, 2 more assists this year. With better spacing and like a pass-first point guard, he's just going to be elite as a scorer. And really has the chops to be a really good defender. Just the size, he's way bigger than when you picture him in your head. Just seeing him in person or just on TV in a game, he's huge. He's already on the path. I just think he needs the wins to really go mainstream. I know they're competing their ass off right now. They're the 6th seed. The playoffs this season could really help him out if he balls out in that first round series, win or lose, and then just getting him some more national televised games. I think that's going to do wonders for him from just a fan beloved level.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. Paolo Banchero, that's a great pick right there. I think that we always see people compare him to LeBron James movement, but as me and he's more of a Carmelo Anthony type build. And it seems like he might be a better version just in terms of the defensive aspect of the ball as well.
Couple inches taller. Like that helps. That helps. Yeah, he's just so crafty.
So crafty, and I love his game. And once he figures out that 3-point shot all the way, man, it is, woo, it's over for a lot of those Eastern Conference teams. TJ, we kind of already talked about it before, but how much longer do you think it's going to take the Magic before they really make some noise in the Eastern Conference?
It's realistic they could make some noise next year. Depending on what goes on in Milwaukee, they still got issues. Everyone just gets another year better. They bring in some new pieces, some more shooting. I could really see them they could make a conference finals next year. I don't see it this year, but next year you could convince me.
Oh, I love it. All right, so just going back over the list, I got my number 1 pick in Victor Wembanyama, number 2 Jason Tatum, and number 3 Luka Doncic. And TJ, you had Anthony Edwards, SGA, and Paolo Banchero. So let us know down in the comments who won in this face of the draft list right here. We're going to take a quick break right here, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing something a little different, just something a little more goofy. We're going to be reacting to a fast food list that our boy Major Kelly had made for us and just just do a little reaction, see what we agree with and see what we disagree with coming up next.
Fucking dumbass doesn't know how to hit the fucking big green share screen button.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, trying something a little new here. We're talking about some fast food establishments in the rankings. Shout out Major Kelly right here for making this for us. Starting in the F tier, we're going to be looking at Arby's. So TJ, does Arby's really deserve an F spot here?
No, that's kind of wild. Like, those roast beef sandwiches can still get the job done. I'm never going out of my way for some Arby's, so I don't totally fault him here. But come on. Boston Market, that shouldn't even be involved with this group.
No. I've never had Boston Market ever.
Yeah, that's some cracker shit.
Arby's. I just want to go back to it real quick. A little expensive for my taste. I think it belongs in the D tier though. I think it should be a little bit. Yeah. Church's Chicken. Never been a huge fan. Why would I choose that when we got some other future ones coming up? Is that F tier worthy?
Yeah, probably. I don't really get it a whole lot. Domino's. Same going across this board. I don't hate it. I think Wingstop deserves more respect. I would definitely bump Wingstop up a little bit.
Jersey Mike's is at least B tier.
I probably like Jersey Mike's more than fucking Firehouse. Right? Okay.
Wow. Firehouse. That's a little bit of a hot take. You're just saying Firehouse is ass?
No, I just think Firehouse is like C or D, bro.
Hell no. Firehouse is B tier at least.
No.
Jersey Mike's is B tier. Long John Silver's, please, if there's an E category, let's go ahead and put it.
Yeah.
Bro, what the fuck? Am I getting fried fish in Arizona at a fast food establishment? What the fuck? Hell no. Okay, Quiznos, goofy.
Yeah. All right, let's go up to the D tier because those other ones. Wiener Schnitzel's solid, but whatever.
Oh, God. You love a good glizzy.
I only had it a couple times. Of course I do. Those A&Ws, underrated. You can only get them on the road trip from Phoenix to Vegas. That's the only place you can get it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the only time. But that shit is good.
Okay, A&W deserves a little bump up, right?
Yeah, maybe a tad.
Maybe C tier.
Jack in the Box is top tier for me.
Whoa! You like the mystery meat, the mystery cockroach meat in the tacos?
A nice sourdough Jack, bro. Can't beat it, bro.
Ultimate breakfast Jack. Okay, you're right.
Yes, bro. Supreme croissant. Come on.
Yeah.
Jack in the Box. That breakfast is second to none.
Can we throw it up to B tier? I don't want to go best. Okay, probably. We'll go B tier. Probably. Panera cracker food. That's F, bro.
I don't really care. I mean, Panera's good when you need some soup. Like you're feeling a little sick, you got to get some soup and a nice sandwich. Get some Panera. But I guess I'm not doing it for fun.
No, not doing it for fun. Wendy's is a little low for me personally.
Wendy's
I don't know how you feel.
Way too low. Except fuck them for that whole burger surge price thing where they're gonna make it more expensive. Yeah. I saw somebody point out companies already do that. It's just they call it happy hour. You do it the other direction.
Yeah.
To drive more demand. You don't punish the high demand customers. That's just poor economic strategy.
Poor economics.
Anywho, Whataburger I think is super underrated.
Oh.
I think it's underrated. I would probably have it C. I still think In-N-Out's better, but In-N-Out's top tier for me too. So getting ahead of myself a little. At McDonald's being D, your bro has no taste.
Bro, McDonald's is ass. Let's keep it a buck. McDonald's belongs in D tier, just flat out.
It's literally.
I know you're McDonald's.
You wouldn't have any of this shit without McDonald's.
No,
that's like having Bill Russell outside your top 10. It's just it's just incorrect. It's incorrect. and it's still fucking good. I don't care how bad it makes your stomach feel a couple hours after.
Bro, but that's the same thing. Their chicken nuggets is literally just, I feel like it's just whole chickens, feathers and everything, just put in a grinder,
Okay.
adding a little bit of food coloring.
Okay. You're going to disrespect other people's cultures now?
Oh my god, you fuck with that beak or what? You nasty ass.
Nah, I love a McDouble with Big Mac sauce. I put you on, and you
did
fucking
put me
love
on.
those things.
You did.
That's the best meal you can get. 2 McDoubles, add Big Mac sauce with a freaking medium fry.
I just want to say here, fuck McDonald's though for what they stand for. Just so
I
we
might,
get- just
I
just
might
make
go
sure.
McDonald's. I might go get McDonald's right after this.
Fuck, that's awful. Stop. We're boycotting McDonald's. Fuck McDonald's. Burger King does not deserve to be above McDonald's. That's ludicrous.
No. But nah, there was a period in my life Burger King might be better than McDonald's. I loved me some Burger King. I love their burgers are better than McDonald's burgers, straight up.
You're just so much more American than me.
Chicken fries? Come on.
How do they do that?
I don't care. I don't care. That's the answer. How magic, bro. Fucking magic. I'll take it.
Something we probably should have touched on at the beginning. What are we factoring in price to these or no? Are we just going strictly off of a taste?
It's got to be a combination of the whole experience and,
Okay.
and going with it. Because Five Guys, that's the
taste?
best burger. That's the best
Best.
burger. I don't even care how expensive it is. Even
Fries
bang for the
too?
buck, yeah.
They're fries?
Come on. Fucking
Come
scoop
on now.
and another scoop. Like, give me that.
Bro, you get a small and
that.
that's a fucking extra large at Mickey D's.
No cap. No cap.
Yep. So yeah, we're gonna have to boost it up. IHOP, I could even slide it down to D tier. Honestly.
It shouldn't be in this conversation. I think you're just talking. They're two separate. That's a sit-down restaurant. You can't put that on the fast. I have an issue with them even being in the same category.
Well, can we just look up real quick? Well, we got Denny's and Waffle House. I'm taking them 10 times out of 10 times over IHOP.
I'm
if we're gonna
taking
include
Waffle
those guys.
House. Denny's, it's a coin flip. They're the same.
To IHOP and Denny's?
Yeah. I think it's the differences are marginal at best. Give me.
You've lost your ways, old man. You lost your ways.
In-N-Out, we already said
the
the best.
Yes.
The best.
Jimmy John's. I fuck with Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's. I'd rather have Firehouse than Jimmy John's. I'd also rather have Jersey Mike's than Jimmy John's, and I'd like to have Subway above all of them.
Oh my god.
I really like Subway.
It's because you mess with Jared Fogle so heavy.
Fuck you. I wish you could get a candle that smells like a Subway restaurant. I love that
God.
smell as you walk into a Subway. I'm not even joking. I wish
The combination.
Yes.
The combination of processed meats and the cookies that they have. You like that?
And no, I think it's the bread. I think it's the bread.
Bread.
Yeah.
Okay, respect. Pizza Hut. I feel like Pizza Hut's a C. I feel like it's good there.
I don't fuck with Pizza Hut. I like.
Oh,
Domino's
you
more than
go
Pizza
lower?
Hut. Yeah, I like Papa John's still. I know that there's the whole deal about, but he's gone. He's out of the company, so you can get Papa John's again. They got Shaq back on the box. So
They do. That's real. Carl's Jr. I'm leaning more pro than anti Carl's Jr.
I'm pro Carl's Jr.
Are we?
Freshman year after school, we would walk to that Carl's Jr. by the high school every day.
Yeah.
Like
no,
before we had like practice or some shit, we would just go and like loiter.
Bro, yeah. If the Suns scored 7 threes too, they had a little deal there too. You
Yeah.
could get like a little free burger. So yeah, Del
They had a
Taco is
burger.
F tier.
Carl's Jr. had a burger one time that it was called the All American Burger. So it had like a beef patty, it had a sliced hot dog, and fucking potato chips. Nah, it was good
That's
though. I had to
horrid,
try
bro.
it. Nah, that was pretty nice. I was fucking
That's
with
horrid.
it. I was.
Hey,
fucking with it.
KFC, you're not sliding out of this. Hold on, you're going to F tier. I don't fuck with KFC.
No, that's dumb. That's dumb. That's
I don't
dumb.
fuck with KFC.
Did you ever have the KFC
The bowl?
double stack? No, the fucking double stack. Where it was a sandwich without any bread. So it was just like 2 chicken breasts with like cheese and sauce and shit, and you just like it was fucking awesome. It was the best.
That
thing
is
ever
so
invented.
putrid for you. That is so putrid.
Who cares, bro? Who cares? Who cares? We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
Right. Del Taco F. Their meat
They got
tastes
good
like
crinkle
copper.
cut fries. They got good crinkle cut fries though.
Del Taco tastes like pennies.
I love me some Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen
Yeah.
used to have like a $5 box at like the Grill and Chills where you
Yep.
got like a sundae with like a burger, fries, and a drink. Bro, that that was beautiful.
DQ can move to B tier. Now we're moving to the higher echelon stuff. Let's be a little more critical here. I think Chick-fil-A deserves its B tier
Best.
spot strictly
Nah, give
because
it a
of
bump.
breakfast.
Give it a bump. That
Bump
shit is
up?
the best. Yeah, that might be number 1.
Whoa! What?
Chick-fil-A
Is there-
like that. Chick-fil-A
Is there
like
Chick-fil-A's
that.
near you?
Chick-fil-A was founded in Atlanta, bro.
Oh shit. Oh
We
yeah,
have
it
them
is. It
everywhere.
is.
Yeah, we have them
Yeah.
everywhere.
Okay. No respect. All right. I'm fine bumping him up a tier. I personally have him B, but I respect it. Culver's is
Really
pretty
good.
fucking
Culver's
good.
Really good.
Culver's is pretty. They kind of got the whole shabam. If you're a soda drinker, please get that cream soda.
And
root
it's
beer.
enough to like sit down inside. Like, it's nice enough to
Yes.
sit down, but also just go through the dry. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, Culver's is the best tier.
No, it could stay in B. It could stay in B. It's
All
not
right.
as good as Chick-fil-A.
Denny's, you already talked about.
We already did Denny's and Waffle House. Little Caesars, too high. I respect the fuck out of his choice having it high. I couldn't justify putting it that high, but I've eaten enough $5 hot and ready in my life to where, like, yeah, it
get
is.
it.
It is.
Yeah, Little Caesars taste amazing when you don't got a bitch in your ear telling you it's nasty.
Exactly.
That's the motto. That's the
Exactly.
motto. Panda Express, me and you kind of talked about it right before this, fell off a cliff.
Yeah, the quality just seemed like it's just not there anymore. Just not
Sophomore
there.
year, Dylan would have had it at best. I'll be honest.
Oh, 100%. I was eating
Give me
that fucking every chance I could.
Chow mein double orange chicken. Come on now. Come
Can't
on
beat
now.
it.
Can't beat it. Popeyes also fell off very recently, in my opinion. Like the last 4 years, it's kind of fallen
But that
off.
spice,
I don't know if you've
that
had it.
chicken sandwich run was unlike anything we've ever seen. That was
Unlike
like a Lin Sanity. It was
That was, that was Linsanity-esque. No, I will 100% agree. Oh my God, they had some fire pickles to go along with it too, and they cooked it so nice. That a little
spicy,
crunchy on the outside.
Back when you had to wait in like an hour-long line to get one too. Motherfuckers were trying
And
to
you would.
resell them. And we,
Bro,
yep.
That was
Yeah,
crazy.
was wild. That was so cringe.
Do you remember that sad ass photo of the Popeyes worker sitting in the sitting in the back, like just
yeah.
Game 6 performance?
Uh-huh.
No,
They were
bro.
always using that when Jimmy Butler was in the finals.
Yeah. All right, and we got Sonic, and I think I agree with our boys take here personally. I don't know how you feel.
Sonic up there and Taco Bell for that matter.
Yeah,
Both
respect.
elite. Both elite.
Both they care about their guest. That's all I'll say. They care about
Mm-hmm.
their guest. All right, we're moving to the best, and I'm liking what I'm seeing, to be honest.
Cane's, keep it, of course. Number one,
Keep
best
it.
chicken spot. Best chicken
Best
spot.
chicken
Let's
spot.
go.
Period.
Period.
Hey, you just said Chick-fil-A might be number one though.
Yeah, but that's like a different kind of. I think they're different enough to where I'll allow it. They can both be up there.
Hey, why can't two legends coexist?
Exactly, right? Chipotle, I gotta move it down one tier. I love it, but I think it's a little different. It's a little different, especially if you're looking at the whole menu. I gotta drop it down a tier.
So this is the biggest pushback I have, and obviously you don't care about health whatsoever, as you talked about your fucking nasty ass American sandwich.
Fuck you.
Chipotle is definitely my number one all time. Yeah, I multiple
I
times
had
I mean
Chipotle
you
this
on phone
week.
calls.
I had it this week. I rock with it. I can't lie.
Yeah.
And it is healthy enough.
I was going through a stretch where I was going there 3 to 4 times a week.
That's what's up.
Very very recently. Firehouse subs, obviously you're not going to have any pull on here. Well, we can move it to C tier for you. I don't know if you're familiar with this place, Portillo's. Have you ever had it?
Yeah, it's like it's hot dogs, right? It's like Chicago style hot dogs.
They have Chicago style hot dogs, but also they have fucking amazing sandwiches there, like top of the line.
See, I haven't had
I
it
personally have it the best. I don't know. We're off your hot dog experience.
I
Where would
haven't
you put
had it
them?
enough. It's a good hot dog. It's a good hot
Okay.
dog. Not as good as the Varsity out here in Atlanta, but it's a good hot dog.
Okay, and then last but not least, Steak and Shake. I fuck with
I
Steak
like
and Shake.
I fuck with Steak and Shake.
Is it B tier or is it the best
It's
tier?
it's probably a tier lower.
I say
our
B tier.
I feel like the Arizona equivalent is Freddy's.
Yeah,
That's probably
yeah.
what it's basically the same thing.
Pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm rocking with it. Okay, that
All
took
right.
us fucking 20 minutes.
Took us way longer than we needed. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hold on real quick. Zaxby's. Have you had Zaxby's since you've been down there?
Yeah, I have Zaxby's out here. Zaxby's and Bojangles, they don't hold the jockstrap of Cane's. Like,
No.
not even close. Cane's is
Damn.
way better in my opinion.
Leagues ahead?
Leagues ahead, bro.
Wow.
It's like
All right.
Premier League versus like whatever
MLS.
the next league. Yeah, versus MLS basically.
All right, guys. But thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you liked this little goofy ass ending to the episode. Just trying to do some little fun shit. But we will be back at you on Tuesday. So great to talk to you, TJ. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day.